Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another SLG Meetup. Today I have a really special guest, and who doesn't enjoy going to the south of France in the summer? Well, we're gonna get a little piece of that with today's conversation. His name is Justin Garrison, and he's the managing director of Riviera Luxury Rentals.
What's
Hello.
happening, Justin?
How are you?
I'm doing très bien, merci. So it's sunset time in Alang Alang? Is that what it is?
It's always salsa time at Alang Alang. But no, it's October. We're still having a wonderful Indian summer. The sun's setting right there. I'll show you guys in a minute, and it's the best backdrop in the world for a chat like this.
I gotta say that I'm very
You've been here
at the moment. Of course, I've been in Alang Alang, and it's one of my favorite villas in the entire world. I mean, when you told me that you were gonna be joining us from Villa Alang Alang, I was like, wow, what a privilege. And look, I cannot complain. I'm here in Miami, also beautiful city, but Alang Alang, chapeau. So tell us a little
We'll
bit
do
about
a swap one of these days.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I mean, it's gonna start getting a little bit cold, so I'd rather stay in Miami, but for sure in the summer. Now, Justin, thank you for joining us. I really wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on in the French Riviera, because everybody dreams of having such an amazing summer vacation there. And you and your company, Riviera Luxury Rentals, have some of the most extraordinary villas. And not only the villas, but also the experience. So tell us a little bit about it.
Well, look, we've worked very hard. There's a great team behind me who, maybe aren't getting to see, you guys aren't getting to see today, but deserve as much credit as I do for anything else to have gotten us here. But yeah, we've worked hard to build up a great but select portfolio of some of the most beautiful homes of the Riviera. Alang Alang is certainly our flagship. It's an exclusivity. I've worked with the owner for 10 years, so I know it inside out. In fact, I remember when it was a building site and we were scrapping about 6 hours before cleaning up stuff because clients were coming and it wasn't quite ready. So I remember all those crazy stories. And yeah, we cover Saint-Tropez we jump over Monaco. We don't work in Monaco itself, right over to the Italian border. We have, I think, just over 200 homes. So we did our best to handpick the best. We don't go under a certain number. And then we have Alang Alang, again, is our flagship, but it's not our most expensive. We have one home here which rents for almost €1 million a week, which is new to the market. And it's a whole nother level of crazy.
Where is that one located?
It's in Cannes, actually. It's a refurbished castle, and it's one of those places that when you hear about it, you see pictures, you think, yes, I kind of get it. And then you walk around and just go, oh my God, I had to see it to sort of understand what this was talking about.
Tell me about, obviously, how you market this property, because it's not something that everybody else can afford. So how do you reach this particular audience?
It's not. We do a lot through Instagram, actually, and social media. We have the villa, has its own dedicated website. Afterwards, I've been doing this for 20 years. My team has been doing this for a long time. My business partner has been doing this for a long time. We have very good internal networks that with certain homes, we work as much as we can. And we have one or two sort of key partners in each destination. So for the States, for Asia, Russia's obviously a question mark at the moment, but it was obviously a very good market for everyone, who help us get market penetration in those sort of countries and markets where we're not sitting there. It would take us, 20 years and $50 million to get penetration of some of our partners. So very carefully handpicking some of those for the really high-end properties, and then making sure that the right people see it without it being everywhere and sort of losing that era of exclusivity that hopefully these kind of people, there's a huge amount of trust, and their assistants are looking after a lot of the travel, and then they're coming here, and the assistants know if they make a mistake, they're going to get assassinated. The guests have very, very particular requests and wants. I mean, I've had an assistant fly over from LA and spend probably 6 minutes in the house just because she wanted to check the master bedroom for her boss to make sure it looked and was exactly what we sort of said. Super great. She flew home. She signed the contract the next day. So these people are particular. But like you said, once they sort of get to know and trust you, they'll stay with you forever.
I wanted to ask you about, obviously, some of the most difficult things that you've encountered in this business.
Look, 2020 was a tough year for everybody. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the travel industry in particular, I think travel and tourism was one of the industries that got hit the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, by the nature of the fact that no one could travel, as we all know. And then the higher you were on the luxury side, obviously, the fewer and few people that were actually traveling.
Yeah.
And the rules at one point, as they sort of eased, but COVID was still around. I mean, I remember we could only do 2 visits per day, and we had to have papers signed, and we'd have to go to the house an hour early and disinfect it and sign papers and give it to the guests saying we'd done that, and rubber gloves and masks. And it slowly loosened. But, you know, we got through 2020, which I think was all everyone was sort of aiming to do. And again, the team stuck together and everyone really supported each other. And it was a time where I think teams really needed to do that. And I hope they're all watching, and thank you for that, for that work then. It was a tough time. 2021 was different. It was a very good year, but it was very, very condensed. It was sort of July and August only. Whereas especially in Cannes, the season normally starts really in April. And then, you know, we have MIPIM, which is the big real estate congress, and the film festival, and Cannes Lions, and then that sort of flows into the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I mean, the weather's so great at the moment. I mean, I'm sitting here in a rolled up t-shirt. I think it was 78
Fantastic.
degrees today. I mean, it was great.
Wow. That's very nice.
And then this year was really that year where everyone was like, right, we couldn't travel, or we didn't travel last year. Let's go.
How important is for you to tie in those experience and those events with being there?
Well, the nice thing with the congresses, especially for the Cannes market, is it extends out the season so much. I mean, don't get me wrong. We focus on Cannes so much because it's where the highest cluster of villas for rent is.
Right.
We do a lot of rentals in Saint-Tropez. July and August, it's packed. There are, of course, people there in June. There are people there in September. But, you know, when you have in let's say an off month like March or May, where the season's really starting to get going, you have an extra 100,000 people coming down. It's great for the market. You know, MIPIM is less, let's say, relevant for villa rentals because the weather can be a bit hit and miss in March, and people don't necessarily want to commit to renting a €100,000 villa for an event when they're not positive they can do everything outside. The film festival is a film festival. It's a bit like being in England. If it rains or not, no one really cares. They do what they want, which is true. And then, you know, we roll into Lions, which is in June, and that, you know, July and August tends to be when people travel down for a month.
Right, high
June,
season.
people tend to come for a little bit less. So again, we have that premium week, which is great for the owners too, you know, on their side, not for the client side, of course, because it is more expensive when you come during.
More expensive.
But that's a simple supply and demand question. But it's a great and unique market in Cannes, especially for that. Afterwards, like you said, the Formula One, there are lots of people that will come for the Formula One and then come for the film festival and then stay on for Formula One weekend.
The word luxury, right? Like it's been used so many different ways, but what is it really for you?
You know, we have smaller villas, but there's that certain point where, yes, you pass into the luxury or super luxury or super prime or whatever sort of term you want to use. I think down here, it's a house over a certain size. It's a house with a certain number of services minimum. I mean, things like cleaning, you know, daily cleaning, maid service, all that, that's great, but that's standard-ish. When you're paying over a certain amount, you want to start having a concierge, you want to start having a private chef, you want to start having villa managers, you know, you want to have, it's not necessarily a bedroom count because it's one of those things where you can have a 5-bedroom house, which is 2,000 square meters, and you can have a 5-bedroom house, which is 200 square meters, but over a certain size. The view plays a huge factor, and I really want to spin the camera around right now and show you the sort of sun setting over the water at the moment. But you know, things like that are what play into it. And then, to be honest, the staff at the house make all the difference.
But what is the biggest lesson that you've learned throughout all your years in this industry?
Shut up and listen.
No,
it's. I think we all have a tendency to sort of want to impose what we want on people, which, as much as, you know, we're all salespeople, we think we can bend people to our will a little bit. At the end of the day, these are, you know, even when you're spending 500, 600 or whatever a month, these are people's holidays. It is their time to relax. It is emotional on that side. It's not buying a house, so the emotions are different. But it's just trying to be quiet, listen, and then this is what you want, this is what we have. Let's try and put those two together.
Sure, I would love to see the sunset because now is
Right.
that magic hour. So show us
I can-
around a little bit. So this is what we're talking about, guys. Like this is,
And
what-
it's a little bit of a cloudy
Wow.
day. When you come on a clear day, you sort of get that beautiful orange red bowl that descends over the sea and sets the mountains on fire. And then I'll drop down a little bit. Do we have another minute? I can show you guys that.
yeah, please, of course.
There we
I
go.
mean, this is what we're talking about. I mean, come on.
Here's the pool. We talked about it, so I'm going to have to show you the beach.
Exactly, yes. And there's
Again.
crocodiles there as well, I remember.
There is. Got that sunset all the way around,
Look
which
at
is
this.
just, you know, I've been coming here for 10 years, I think, on and off, and I still can't get over this view. Every
I
time I
mean,
see
how
it.
could you? This is like something that you don't see anywhere. Like this is just unique and magical.
And a nice shot of the pool in the house there.
It's
And the
just
nice thing
bringing
was-
this.
The whole garden was carved out of this sort of rock wall here. So
Mhm.
if you want to come and, you know, have a party or a wedding or do whatever you want, there's, I don't want to say no sound restrictions, but you can really have fun before you bother anyone. And then, yeah, so the barbecue's out. The owner's not in the house at the moment, but here, so it's set up a little bit for him. But yeah, we got the crocodile,
Yeah, there it is.
and then we got our waterfall and our beach. Using my best not to fall in the water.
So I think that's where you're gonna relax for the rest of the afternoon, no?
I'm gonna
Enjoy
try and get
the
a glass
sunset.
of rosé and sit here.
Wow. Listen, doesn't sound too bad. So I gotta say,
Well, look-
this is by far one of the best properties I've seen.
It is, and the nice thing with it as well is it's not overly vulgar or anything like that. You know, their houses, and it's not overly sterile. You know, we have homes where you walk in and they're beautiful, but you can see that the guests, not that they're uncomfortable, but you don't want to sit down. It's
Right.
a little bit of, not a museum, but, you know, it's beautiful. Everyone walks around, but it's very delicate. Alang Alang, there's just something about it that when you come in, it's very warm. You just want to sit down, relax. You feel at home immediately, and no one ever wants to leave.
Mhm. No, I mean, fantastic. I really appreciate you showing us this
Of course.
beautiful side of the house and also the views, because those are just spectacular. I mean, we're gonna keep that in our mind as an inspiration, you know, and manifest it, because this is definitely the type of house where people dream of.
Well,
sometime
look, for the
going.
moment, no bookings for next year. So anyone who wants to come, it's free all 2023.
Perfect. Let's make it happen. Let's go.
Yeah.
And the inside is just also phenomenal.
Yeah, this is the living room. So come around here. I can't take you into the bedrooms. Apologies.
No, it's all good. And those that want to
Okay.
see more about this villa, check it out on their Instagram. I mean,
Yeah,
you'll see
please.
what we're talking about. It's just fantastic. This is just a sneak peek to make sure that people get a taste of it.
Sneak
Then they
peek,
can
but
check
definitely take a
everything
look.
else.
I've got it,
Of
and then
course.
sorry,
And I
the last
encourage
thing.
you to do it.
Check out this. I've never seen a chandelier that runs 3 stories. There we go. Up and up and up and up and up.
That's just incredible.
And then the last thing, just because you mentioned it, we have to say hi to Stan.
Yes, please. Our friend Stan the dinosaur. Such an icon.
So this spa's down there. That's the main staircase. And then we swivel around, and here's Stan.
What's up, Stan?
Hey, man,
Nice
what's
to
up?
see you, huh? Really nice, and I really enjoyed the conversation. There is great points that I'm not sure people will take in consideration for whatever they do, especially the shut up and listen, because we forget that quite often. So
My mom told
Yeah.
it to me once when I was a kid, and it stuck in my head.
it's a good lesson. It's a good lesson. But I appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing you soon. And if you get too tired of the cold in the winter, you can always come to Miami.
My pleasure. I'd love to come, so I'll take you up on that.
Sounds good. Well, Justin,
All
thank
right.
you so much.
Thank
And I
you.
look
Take
forward
it
to
easy, man.
connecting soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.